Hi. Okay, this is my third live stream. Still don't know what I'm doing. Still do not know the direction of any of this, so, just bear with me, please. So I wanted to show you this thing very quickly. So this is what I'm working on right now today, and let me clean the camera real quick. Okay. All right, so this is a little off from the album Chrysalis that I'm working on. The idea for this month was if I could really follow through really well, then hopefully I would not only be able to finish like all the vocals and stuff for Chrysalis, but also be able to finish all the vocals for these other albums that I already have finished and produced, and they're all ready to go. They just need like the vocals recorded and then them to be mixed and mastered fully. I've already done some mixing on them, so the songs are pretty much they're very close to finish. So there's a couple albums. There's an electronic album called Apotheosis. I know I've talked about that for the past couple years. There's also one called Zenith Chasm. That's also another electronic album. And then there's Chrysalis, which Chrysalis is following in a different vein because this is more my ballad roots. This is more where I go to when I am really laying down my soul. Whereas the electronic albums, I'm still being raw and I'm still being honest, but it is more for the joy, the inner child who, had dreams of being a pop star. I think I talked about that before. So that's like my way of nurturing that kid in me, and also just having fun because I do also love to make electronic music, and I love to experiment with how to sew the two together, the electronic with the ballad stuff, and weave them in a way that works. That's I don't think there's many of that on the SEXISTENTIal album that I already released, except for maybe the last half of that album, like my heart is always breaking in the end, like stuff like that. Love Through the Pain. Anyway, back on topic. So one of the songs on the album, the electronic album, is called Headway, and it has a really good message, and I really want to put it out there for everybody. But this crazy thing happened where I think I had 36 separate drum tracks. And I thought, oh, maybe this system will have an easier time running if I take those 36 and I condense them into one drum file. And then in that one drum file, separately pan each one and like all that kind of stuff. I have no idea what happened. But after I did that and then saved the file and then opened the file up, the file was now, I couldn't use it. It had somehow become 736 drum files. So anytime I would hit play, the song itself wouldn't even play because it was so overloaded and overwhelmed. And I have no idea how that happened. It was like counting every single plug. It was counting, like, if I opened up a drum track called there's one called No Man's Joint in Logic Pro X. Now, if I open up that drum kit and I only use the crash, for some reason, when it combined all of them, it kept everything else. So under the kit for No Man's Joint will not just be a crash, there'll be snares, hi-hats, there will be bells, claps, synths, bass, like there might be all this other stuff, and it was counting them even though they weren't used. And even though I didn't use any of them, and it still was only 36 tracks within those 736, it still was processing it as if, that's my guess, is that it was processing it as if it still had 737 drum tracks. Holy shit. What would have been even funnier is if I had released that song with like legit 736 tracks, and the drums sucked. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, wow, you put a lot of drums in there and they're still not good. So anyway, I had several calls with Apple, with different people trying to get some advice. Nobody really knew what to do about this, and I've cherry picked some of the, I guess, solutions that different people like people at Apple had suggested, and I kind of started to like combine those solutions, break them down, play with them to discover new solutions that might actually fix this. And now I think, hopefully, I don't know, but I'm that's what I'm working on today, is trying to fix this up. So basically, what I am having to do right now is I'm having to go to each individual track, click down on the drop down menu. I have to then click each individual track and I have to see which one it's at. Okay, so this one is at Crash No Man's Joint. I have to make sure it plays. Oh, let me unplug that. It's the volleyball of death. Oh wow, this is really struggling here. All I did was unplug my headphones, and it's like freaking out now.